Phew! That was a lot of sport and exercise. Welcome back, folks, to English 2, Unit 2. We are now on Part 2, and there's me chasing the ball again. It goes empty squad, chase the ball. Go, I'm going to catch it this time.
Empty squad, it's time to study. You finished the break.
Yes, well, I've got my cup of tea, and I think before we go into Unit 2, Part 2, we're going to have a little recap. Let's have a recap.
This is Tia Younghee
and Professor Neil. So we're going to recap. Okay, so here we are, Unit 2. Alright, so in the first unit, let's bring the other one back. There we go. We will talk about adverbs of frequency. So some adverbs are ones like always, almost always, down to never, and they come before the main verb.
Professor Neil, can you get back your voice? You sound like MP Squire.
Okay, get back my normal voice. And on the right we have adverbs that are more specific and give more details, and they're all dealing with things like how often. How often do you do something? Do you ever do something? And that's what we're going to be looking at in Speaking 1. So away with the adverbs. And let's go to Speaking 1. So, Speaking 1, usual activities. Now, in Unit 1, we talked about activities. Some activities you do always or often. Some activities you sometimes do. But usual activities are more daily activities. Regular daily activities that you do on a frequent basis. Frequently.
So, if the conversation on the top left is A, I play. Professor Neil, you're gonna do B.
Okay, yes.
Does Jack play tennis?
Yes, he plays tennis once a week. So there we have the adverb of frequency, once a week.
Top right dialogue. A. Professor Neil, will you do A?
Okay.
I'll do B.
Okay. Do Sue and Kumar cook dinner at home?
Yes, they usually cook dinner at home.
And so here we have the adverb of frequency, usually. But it's not specific. We don't know how many days they cook at home, just that they usually do it. We don't know how much. So, also, one other thing to notice here. This one has does, because Jack is one person. This one has do, because Sue and Kumar are two people. And here it says he plays, S, because it's plural. And here they, and cook has no S because it's they. So these are small grammatical details to pay close attention to. So let's look at Susan first. So we got Susan, and we have the activity, swim, and we have the adverb of frequency, every day. So our avatars are back, and I will ask Younghee the question for the answer. Danielle, that's better. Does Susan swim?
Yes, she swims every day.
Every day. So the do here is in pink, or the does, because it is the auxiliary verb, and swim is in red because it is the main verb. And we're giving our adverbial phrases a light blue to make them clearer for you. So then we have George vacuum twice a week. Does George vacuum?
Yes, he vacuums twice a week.
So in the picture here, you can see this. This is George with his rubber gloves. He is holding a vacuum
cleaner.
A vacuum cleaner. And he vacuums with the cleaner twice a week. Twice means 2 times a week. 2 times a week. Do Ray and Ellen read?
Yes, they always read.
Always read. Does Kim ride the bus?
Yes, she often does. Why does she look sad?
Notice a small change here. We've written, yes, she often does. So because you don't have to repeat ride the bus in the answer because it is in the question. You could just say, does she ride the bus? Yes, often. You do need a yes because it's a yes-no question. You do need the adverb, but everything else that is repeated you don't need. So it's quite often we say, yes, she does. And we use does as an emphasis, even though she's looking a little sad about it.
So you can say, yes, she often does ride the bus.
Yes, but you don't have to say that because you're just repeating the question. So let's do a similar style here. Do Chow and John stay up late?
Yes, they sometimes do. But I think the other boy's name is Jin, not John.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, little correction there. That's J-I-N. Alright, let's go to speaking to. Speaking to is a little bit more detailed, asking for more details. We talked about greater details. So here, as Yonghi was saying, top right, I'll read A if you do B. How often does Fatima work late?
She sometimes works late.
Yeah, so who is Fatima? We don't know. But we know that she sometimes works late. But here, our little character, she is called Paula. And these are the activities she's doing at work. This is her routine. She starts work, she has lunch, she goes grocery shopping, eats at a restaurant, goes dancing, and reads in the evening.
So routines are like usual activities you do every day.
Yes, they are things you repeat at the same time every day.
So regular activities.
Regular activities that you repeat almost every day or every week or every month or every year. Like a common routine is birthday or Christmas or Chuseok. But then you have daily activities, weekly activity, monthly activities, yearly activities.
Or
Habits. But this is Paula's routine, and these are things she does every week, most likely. Or every month. So let's start with, how often does Paula start work at 9?
She always starts work at 9.
Alright, so in this exercise, notice that the adverbs of frequency will move place depending upon the type of adverb of frequency. So she always starts work at 9 means every day she starts work at 9. How often does Paula have lunch in her office?
She sometimes has lunch in her office.
How often does Paula go grocery shopping?
She goes grocery shopping once a week.
Now here's an important part we have not seen before. Notice how the adverb of frequency comes at the end of the sentence, after grocery shopping. So here, if there's something that relates to the goes, it separates the main verb and the adverb of frequency. It goes at the end of the sentence. So here, our previous ones come before the main verb. But these ones, where are we? There we go. Are coming at the end of the sentence. To point out, they can also go at the beginning of the sentence sometimes too.
So once a week, she goes grocery shopping.
Is an option. Very good, Yonghi. Very good. But you cannot say she once a week goes grocery shopping. No, you shouldn't say it. You can say it, but you shouldn't say it. Because then that would be considered bad grammar. Crime. How often does Paula eat at a restaurant?
She eats at a restaurant twice a month.
So you can see the pattern here again. Twice a month comes at the end of the sentence because it's giving specific information, specific detail. How often does Paula go dancing?
She hardly ever goes dancing.
So hardly ever, is that never or sometimes?
very, very occasionally. So she will not go dancing if she can help it.
Okay, but it's hardly ever, is not never, is not sometimes, is not occasionally. It doesn't, but it means not never, but not never. It's not specific. It's very unclear. So that is why you need the specific adverbs of frequency too, to give more detail. How often does Paula read in the evening?
She usually reads it in the evening.
So usually, is that often or sometimes? Closer to often. Closer to often. Alright, we do have another one for Justin, but we're going to leave that one for you to do. Alright, we're going to leave Justin for you to do, because Justin, I think, needs to go to bed early tonight. And we're going to take a look at the let's go to the self-practice.
Self-practice.
Self-practice we are going to help you a little bit with. Right? So notice here, before Yonghee did this, he gives here, alright, Pablo's answer, he is Pablo, we don't know her name, but Pablo here is giving short answers to the questions. So, do you ever visit your relatives? He says, yes, I visit my relatives twice a year. But he just says, yes, twice a year. So when it's a yes-no question, you have to give the yes and the adverb of frequency. So here, yes-no question, yes-no question. Information question, you just have to give the adverb of frequency. Information question, number 7, and number 4, you only have to give the adverb. But here, the example, they want you to write them as full sentences. So here, the example, do you meet your friends often? He says, yes, usually. So here, really the books will say, yes, he usually meets his friends. Should still have the yes in the example, because it's a yes-no question. So number 1, Yonghee, do you ever visit your relatives would be...
Yes, I visit my relative twice a year.
Very good. But we're just going to follow the book's example and say he. Alright, because Yonghee is not Pablo. So it is my fault. I should have said in the question, does Pablo visit his relatives twice a year? So the questions here are saying you, but the answers are changing to he. Alright, so yes, it is a little confusing. Alright, so... and the other one, sometimes, yes, he sometimes reads magazines, and so on. Oh, let's go back. But we'll leave the other ones for you to do for homework, and maybe the online quiz, and maybe the midterm test. Oh, glory.
Oh, better write down. This might be a homework or a test.
Yes.
Write down.
Take some notes. So let's go to classroom activity 1, because those questions are coming back again. See, my point here was, take turns asking the same questions Rachel asked Pablo. Oh, there you go. Her name is Rachel. He is Pablo.
Mystery solved.
Mystery solved, yes. The mystery of the mystery woman's name. Yes, her name is Rachel. And give short answers like Pablo. And write your partner's short replies. Oh. Well, it's asking for short answers. But in my PowerPoint, I've put, in our video, we've put long answers. Do you ever visit your relatives? Long answer, I visit my relatives. So these are the long answers. The blue dots would be the short answer. Okay? So you only need to put in the short answer, and I've given you the example for the long answer. So we're just going to practice with this with Yonghee. She's only going to give me the short answer. Okay? Do you ever visit your relatives?
Hardly ever.
Good. Do you read magazines?
Sometimes.
Are you ever late for school?
Never.
How often do you eat fast food?
Hardly ever.
Are you tired after having lunch?
Always.
Are you busy on weekends?
Normally busy.
Oh, different style there. Normally busy means
Usually.
usually. How often do you play sports?
Every day.
Every day. Do you often go to concerts?
Once a month.
Yeah, but not much these days. Not much these days.
Because I'm busy.
Yes, because you're busy. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Oh, going the wrong way. Okay. That was good. So now we go to Classroom Activity 2. Again, but this time, Yoonghee, if you just ask me, and I'll get an answer to the question.
Ooh, I get to ask question.
Yeah. Once in a blue moon. See? Blue moon.
Interesting. Question number 1, Professor Neil. Do you get up early?
Oh, that's not a question. Do you get up early? Usually. Let's say usually.
Okay. How often do you have breakfast?
Sometimes.
Number 2, do you take a bus to school?
Once or twice a month.
Question number 3, are you ever late for class?
Never.
Number 4, do you eat lunch in the cafeteria?
Sometimes.
Number 5, how often do you go to the library?
Never.
Why never?
No need.
Number 6, do you get home before 6 o'clock?
Sometimes.
Question number 7, do you spend the time with the family in the evening?
Once or twice a week.
Number 8, how often do you go to bed before midnight?
Once in a blue moon.
Wow, you never go to bed before midnight?
Sometimes, but not often. I'm a bit of a night owl. Night
ghost.
Night owl.
Night owl.
O-W-L, owl. If you've seen Harry Potter, there are owls in Harry Potter. Smart birds, smart creatures, yes. Lovely, wonderful. Let's go to listening 1. But we like to do listening a little bit differently. We will read the listening to you and then talk you through the answers. Okay, so I'm going to read the listening. You listen, and then Yoonghee's going to give us the answers, okay?
Oh, me have to have answer and write down.
Okay, so here we go. Marathon training. Hi, I'm Gary Black, and I'm training for a marathon right now. My routine is always the same. I go for 3 short runs each week. Once a week, I go for a long run of about 20 or 30 kilometers. Usually on Thursday, after my long run, I take a rest day. I usually rest twice a week. And I always eat healthily. I need a lot of energy, so I eat foods like pasta and bread almost every day. Some runners lift weights, but I never lift weights. Running keeps me fit enough for the race. Okay, Yoonghee. So, how often does Gary go for a short run?
3 times a week.
Very good. How often does Gary go for a long run?
Once a week.
How often does he take a rest day?
Twice a week.
Very good. And how often does he eat bread or pasta?
Almost always.
Almost always. And how often does he lift weights?
Never.
Well done, Yoonghee. Perfect score.
I memorized all the script you just.
Yes, 5 out of 5.
Yay! More fish, please.
Okay.
I get to have 6 fish.
Okay, well let's go to the listening too. 2 listenings this time. Let's see how much you remember this time. All right, so we've got the time, so we're going to read it. So in this dialogue, we have Kate and her dad are talking about working abroad. Listen to Kate talk with her dad about her new life abroad. Answer the questions with full sentences. This time, we're going to do the listening, but we're not going to give you the answers.
Ooh, homework.
Maybe. Here we go.
Hi, Dad. How are you?
Hi, Kate. It's good to hear from you. How's Japan?
I love it. Tokyo is so interesting.
How's work?
It's great too. The students at the elementary school are really cute. They always make me smile.
That's good news. What do you do every day?
Well, I always wake up early because my classes start at 9 a.m. In the afternoon, I usually eat lunch with my new friends. They teach at my school too. Oh, I'm also taking a language class. I study Japanese twice a week.
Oh, konnichiwa. You're really busy during the week. Do you rest on the weekends?
No, there's too much to see. Every Saturday I go sightseeing with my friends. We also sometimes go out in the evening after school.
I'm glad you're having fun. Take care of yourself.
You too, Dad. I love you. Say hi to Mom for me.
Will do. Bye. They should always say bye. It's the end of the phone call. Okay, good job, Yonghee. All right, give you a little pat on the back. And here's some fish. So there you are, part 1. If you need to, if you haven't got the book, you can look on page 107 for the dialogues to these listening sections in Unit 2. So we'll leave that one for you to do. And we're going to go to the reading and the writing, our final bit before the grammar section at the end. So in the reading and writing, there are actually 3 reading parts. So read about life at school for Anna, Ryan and Laurie, then answer the questions in full sentences. So, usual thing, I read it to you, and then we check the answers. So, let's go. So the first reading, we have Anna. Oh, I guess Yonghee should do Anna.
Oh.
Okay, Yonghee, you want to do that?
I usually start my day early. I'm majoring in physics, and my first class is at 10 a.m. I usually get a coffee and a muffin on the way to class. After class, I sometimes go downtown. I like to eat lunch with my friends. They are studying at a different university, but our schools are not far apart.
Good job, Yonghee. I recommend you go through this paragraph and highlight the adverbs of frequency and take note of the main verbs and also take note of the activities Anna does. And then do the same for Ryan. So I will read Ryan. I like to sleep late. I'm taking 5 courses, but they all start in the afternoon. I almost always have cereal for breakfast. Then, I sometimes eat lunch in the cafeteria. I hardly ever meet my friends at school this semester. We all have different schedules. So that's Ryan. That's my young people's voice. And again, check for the adverbs of frequency. Mark down any of the main verbs in each sentence and take note of the activities he's doing. Those are the things you want to focus on in this reading. Alright, and now for the last reading. Yonghee?
Yes, Professor.
It's your honour.
I'm almost always busy. I don't have time for breakfast in the morning. I run from my dormitory to my first class at 9 a.m. It's 3 hours long. When it is finished, I'm usually really hungry. I grab a snack at a coffee shop. My next class starts right away. I'm always tired at the end of the day.
Very good. So how about you out there? How was your day? How is your day? Are you busy? Are you running to class? Are you skipping breakfast? Are you hungry? Or are you enjoying nice days of relaxation and your favorite activities? I want to know. Please put them in the comment section below. So quickly, we go through the answers. So Yongi, who usually drinks coffee in the morning?
Anna usually drinks coffee in the morning.
Very good. And how often does Ryan meet his friends?
Ryan meet his friends hardly ever.
Yes, Ryan hardly ever meets his friends because they have different schedules. Who sometimes has lunch with friends?
Anna sometimes has lunch with her friends.
Yes, okay, very good. Does Ryan ever eat in the cafeteria?
I think Ryan sometimes eats lunch in the cafeteria.
Very good, very good. Yes, eats lunch even. Who skips breakfast?
I think it's Lori. Lori usually skips breakfast.
Yes, notice how she says she never eats breakfast or doesn't have time for breakfast. If you don't eat breakfast, that means you skip breakfast. Well, there we go. Well done, Yonghee. Thank you very much. The grammar review, we are leaving that for self-study. Okay, so it's a good idea to leave it for self-study because it's useful to do this before the midterm speaking test. Oh, it stops just there. Well, thank you very much, Yonghee. MP Squire and myself were off to play rugby. And where's Yonghee? Oh, Yonghee.
I'm hungry.
Well, I guess Yonghee has called it a day. So, well, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful time, and bye-bye. Bye.